Like call to order the Proctor City Council meeting for Monday, May 19th, 2025. Can you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Perform roll call at this time. Councilor Benson,
Present.
Councilor Peterson,
Present.
Councilor DeWall,
Present.
Mayor Ward's also in attendance. Please let the minutes reflect Attorney Berta, Administrator Rich, along with Chief Gatis, and all others in attendance. Looking for a motion to approve the pre-agenda meeting minutes from Monday, May 5th, 2025.
So moved.
Councilor Peterson made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Benson. Any further discussion? I would like to just add on the SRO contract, it just says that it's remained that amount for 4 years. It's been 6, maybe 7
2019.
since 2019. Yeah, and I know the city council minutes reflect that correctly, but the pre-agenda did not, so. Any other discussion?
Can we add just a legislative update?
When we get to the approval of it, yes.
Okay.
Any other discussion on the pre-agenda meeting minutes? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Looking for a motion to approve the city council meeting minutes from Monday, May 5th, 2025. I'll make that motion if there's a second.
Second.
I just had one thing on here as well, but on the total for the bills for approval, you have the total amount, but it's not broken down between general and liquor. I don't know if that matters, but. Any other discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Looking for a motion to approve tonight's agenda.
So
Oh.
moved.
Councilor DeWall made a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Benson. Any further discussion?
Could we pull 1A?
We're on the
Agenda.
agenda right now, Councilor. You wanted to add something to that, though?
No, I just wanted to pull it.
You wanted to add legislative update, no?
Yes.
So that'll be 6E.
6E would be legislative update. Okay, any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Brings us to comments and suggestions from the citizens present. The public comment suggestion period of this meeting is when the city council offers a time for everyone in attendance or watching from home to address the city council. Once we move on from the public comment suggestion period of the meeting, members of the public will no longer be allowed to address the city council unless the mayor acknowledges you. As a general rule, the council will listen to all comments but are not required to comment on or respond to any comments made by speakers. If you'd like to address the city council during the public comment suggestion period of the meeting, please come forward to the podium or dial 218-628-6268. Before you begin, please state your name and address for the meeting minutes. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. Anyone addressing the city council will be prohibited from using obscene, profane, or threatening language or boisterous conduct that disrupts the meeting or the security of the public. Is there anyone at this time that is interested in participating in the public comment suggestion period of this meeting? If so, please come forward to the podium or dial 218-628-6268. We'll give that about a minute.
Do away with what?
Phone. People can call in.
No, we have it done away with.
Phil Larson, 702 First Avenue, Proctor. Just wondering if there's any movement on the blight ordinance. I know you had some questions of the chief from last meeting about the citations there, and it looks to me like somebody has had a talk with them. They moved some stuff around. Didn't really accomplish nothing. They're still parked on the sidewalk. I just wondering, is there any movement or?
So in our pre-agenda meeting, I did ask Attorney Berta that question. Attorney Hanka is the one that's working on that, and he had no update as of right now, but the questions that we all had at council and the PD had regarding the new ordinance was sent to Attorney Henke, so he is in receipt of it. Where it's at, hopefully we'll have it here at the next meeting.
So once, for code violations or ordinance violations, who does the citations for them? You know, what's the course there, you know, because that building has been up and unfinished for 3-4 years now. It's still unsided. They have tarps in the garage doors. I don't know if there's garage doors behind the tarps or, you know, it's not finished yet. It's been 3 years. So those ordinances, do they ever get cited, or, you know, what happens, or nothing?
Well, and I know in the old ordinance, that's kind of where the confusion was of who is responsible to go out there. Is it the PD? It's not really a PD issue. He's not breaking any law. He's breaking city code or city ordinance, but, so that is one of the things changing within the new ordinance that we've came up with, is who is going to be responsible. We have a clear-cut process now in place once that gets passed, of who will be directing that language. But as of right now, I guess I don't know who's,
Wouldn't it go,
would it be the chief right now that's doing it, or the PD?
I don't know.
No, I'm
I know,
looking at
I
it.
know there's vehicles that aren't licensed or unlicensed in the driveway. You know, why not impound them and make them pay the impound, get them back and with current registration?
So at our pre-agenda meeting, we were given an update on this property, and they have, I don't,
4 vehicles were towed.
four
vehicles.
total. 3 have been towed, 1 placard and removed. So 4 total vehicles have been taken off there already.
Still got more to go. But then the trailer, you know, it's loaded with the tree that he did a job for his neighbor, you know, and it's big wood. You don't just move it around. It's, you know, 18, 20 inches in diameter. And it's sitting on the trailer in the right of way of the alley, you know, on the south side of that garage.
Yeah, one other update we were given with, we did have our working street foreman here, and there is communication between our PD and street department on when it is blocking the right of way. They are communicating to let the law enforcement know to go over there and ticket it, so.
And then, you know, they moved some cars back as far as they can up to the garage, but they're still over the sidewalk, so the sidewalk's still unusable by the public. And I just can't get my head around that we allow somebody to block public sidewalks. It's public money. You look at the sidewalks, they're destroying them, you know, they're driving them over them all the time. There's no aprons there, nothing, you know, it's just mud. And it's, you know, why do we keep allowing it? I just can't get my head around it.
Well, I think we covered this at our last meeting, Phil. We can go round and round with it again, but I think that we've already had that discussion on
Yeah,
why we've been
impound them.
allowing it for 10 years. It's beyond me. But we
You
don't need to do the
impound
same dance every week, do we?
Then it's gonna sting, you know, they gotta come up with the money to go get their whatever, and then they gotta find a place or clean out their yard of all the spare tires and oil cans and stuff that are in the yard, taking up parking spaces.
Right. And to Administrator Rich's point, 2 meetings ago when we did this same thing, we have been ticketing them for that stuff, and they pay it. They're contributing to the fines that we're levying against them.
And you found out how many citations they've had, or?
I have not. That would be Chief
You had asked
Gaddis
that
or.
question last
it-
week, and.
Yep, and I don't know if we got an answer or not. Okay. Right,
Yeah. All right, thank you.
thanks. Hearing no other comments, we'll move on to the consent agenda. For motion to approve tonight's consent agenda.
So move.
Counselor Benson made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor DeWall. Any further discussion?
I'd like to
Couns-
pull 4A.
4A, Counselor Benson, you asked to pull, what was it?
1A.
1A, thank you. Any other discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. That will bring us to 1A. Counselor Benson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I just wanted to thank during our regular meeting, the city administration and the street department for keeping this program going for over 3 decades. I think it's very helpful for the community. And that's it.
Thank you. Any other discussion on that? If not, we'll entertain a motion to approve the communication from the Arbor Day Foundation 2024 Tree City notification status.
So moved.
Counselor Benson made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor Peterson. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Brings us to 4A, Clerk advises council, Highway 2 lighting options. Counselor DeWalt.
I know in our pre-agenda meeting, we discussed the lighting, and if legal says I need to put it under a different tab, I will. This goes back to the Highway 2 lighting and SCH's proposal for a curb cut sidewalk move plus retaining wall, 77,000. I was just curious if we got an update from a local business owner who was looking for more, because I have, and I just think there's some confusion there, and I'd like to clear it up before we get too far ahead on the planning. Just to clear the air, because I think it was, council made a decision that that's too much money, we're not gonna be able to spend that for 6 parking spots or 7 parking spots. We're gonna talk to Lee to see what his interest was in it.
So I can give an update. He was given the plan, was given the price tag, and I reached out to him one other time. He needed time to digest it, look at it, think about it, and I asked him for feedback a couple weeks later and haven't heard back from him.
Okay, I would add to that, I did receive some feedback from him. He was wondering if, I mean, the only reason to move the sidewalk and the curb was to widen the road, and who wanted the road wider? The state? Or were we just widening it to add
Parking, to the,
parallel parking
yeah.
on Highway 2? What if we just left it the way it was? Leave the curb where it is, leave the sidewalk where it is, and go back into that hillside and create angled parking where you could get more parking spots in that space. And then somehow the only thing you'd have to do is design in an entrance off of Highway 2 on the first part of First Street. So you go in on that corner, there is some utilities in there, but they were far up the hill. The water shut off, gas, we're up more midship of the hill. Wondering what that would do to the cost, because there is an appetite of that owner to put some parking in there without moving the expensive parts. Because if we move the curb and sidewalk, we gotta move storm, sewer, we all know that adds money. And what he was wondering is if he did that, like leave everything the way it is, but he built it to specification. I know it's kind of changing the scope a little bit, but that would, to me, in my opinion,
Would you still be going back into the hill then by doing that?
you'd go into the hill a little bit.
Because I think the spendy part of that project was a retaining wall, wasn't it?
Yep, and if,
I mean,
that wouldn't be an additional cost to us, it'd be an additional cost.
Oh, right, but I'm just saying, I think that's what made the project so expensive to begin with, was by going into that hillside a little bit.
yeah, and I don't know if it's gonna be more costly or save you anything right now. I'd have to, I guess I would ask if you could help, you know, provide a little sketch or something, and if you want us to pursue a cost estimate with that, we can do that. I don't know off the top of my head.
I think it's not so much the cost estimate, it's the building it to a code that is, because it's technically state road right away, correct?
Yes.
So we want to build it to the state spec,
If you did,
and he built it based on that plan.
so you're saying take the curb line where it exists now and put angled parking in?
Leave it right, the sidewalk and curb, leave it exactly where it is.
I would have to check the measurements to see if it fits or not and meets that state requirement. I just don't know off the top of my head. It might be too narrow, it might be long enough, just not sure.
Also, are they changing
No,
some of those?
I can't imagine what would fit, because if we can't fit parallel parking there, I don't think the angled parking would fit, because that would take up more space from your shoulder to the curb.
But that bumps out towards Highway 2, and we were gonna take that bump out and put it in, leave the bump out where it is, sidewalk is where it is, and you go back. I stepped it off, and it's almost identical to the parking that he already has.
Are you saying the existing parallel parking location?
No.
Add angled parking in that?
How about I just have the owner drop a map of what he's looking at, and I'll make sure Administrator Rich gets that,
Sure.
and then there was still some appetite to increase parking, and I just don't want to miss the boat on it. Where the adjacent landowner was willing to pay the bill to make it happen. And I don't see it costing 75 grand.
I just have one concern, I guess. Is this something that we should be paying our engineers to look at?
Well, I was thinking that they could use the existing estimate that they already have, just minus out the curb cut, minus out the sidewalk, minus out the storm sewer. It shouldn't take that long. They've already got the plan and estimate for the retaining wall.
If you're keeping existing curb and existing sidewalk, all it's doing is restriping, unless I'm completely misunderstanding what.
Also, was MinDOT proposing some ADA changes? That's why their curb and gutter is moving as well, the sidewalk?
Well, the sidewalk was
Wasn't
gonna
there?
stay, I thought.
I don't think the curb and gutter between the business entrance and First Street, I don't think that curb and gutter was planned to move.
Okay.
It will only moving if we were adding any parking.
Have them draft something up so we can get a better concept of it.
I will do that.
Yeah.
I don't want to skip over it with confusion and have somebody mad because we didn't spend 2 minutes to review it.
Yep. All right. Any other discussion on 4A? This is the lights for Highway 2 in the pre-agenda meeting. I know Administrator Rich had discussed that, council should probably look at or envision what they want to see downtown look like as far as lighting. You see the price in front of you, all options are pretty steep. But again, I said it in the pre-agenda meeting, and I'll say it again, but it's a MinDOT road, it's a MinDOT project, and we're required it's a MinDOT requirement, we have the lighting, and we're required to pay 50% of it, which I disagree with, but it is what it is, right? You're not gonna win that battle with the state, so, but I just don't think it's right that they're requiring us to have lights on their project, and we pay the bill and we foot half the lights, so. So I don't know, Administrator Rich, what would you like to see from council on this as far as ideas, discussion? Do you want us to get back to you on it via email of ideas? You want us to hammer it out right now tonight and see where council sits? You guys are meeting tomorrow, right?
Wednesday.
Wednesday?
So you have some numbers in front of you. The biggest number is obviously like an all-inclusive package. Like if we had the world, if we had the money, this is what we would do. And so once we got that number, we looked back and obviously that's unattainable. It wasn't planned for. It's a project that's been kind of sprung on us. So we look at scaling it back. We do not need, with this project, we do not need to extend lighting. The wish list is to extend it out to Old Highway 2. That doesn't need to be done with this project. MnDOT is tearing up the existing sidewalk in your downtown corridor area. This is the time to replace that decorative lighting. You could not replace it with anything. You could pull your decorative lighting off. I would caution you that if you look at your businesses then the only lighting that you would have would be the overhead MnDOT lighting. And if you look at some of your businesses on that Highway 2 corridor, they don't have their businesses very well lit, so your sidewalks are going to be dark. So just some general guidance from the council on what you want that to look like. Do you want decorative lighting back? I think We can light up our sidewalks safely with a dark sky technology. Right now, what you have is globes that light up the whole area. When you put in something that downward directs, it lights up, cues motorists that you're coming into a pedestrian area, business area, people parking, those kind of things. And then what the boundaries of, now that you have a general idea of what a price per pole is, which if you're going to go with outlets and banner arms, it's going to probably be $11,000 to $12,000 a pole. What you want, do you just want us to concentrate on replacing what's there with a different pole and a technology that hopefully lights better, brighter? Everyone seems to like the Second Street pole and that look of that LED light. What do you vision for that to give us more decoration, more direction in design?
Well, and as we were discussing prior to the meeting, I like the uniform look. The lights on Second Street look nice. If we kept them all the same, going down Highway 2, between, what is it, 4th and 5th, the little stretch from to the powerhouse there. I think we do need a couple. I don't know what we have there. Would you say 5 in that little area?
On the corner, yeah.
So I don't know if we need that many, but we should keep that area lit, I would think. I do like the flag option. I think that looks nice coming through town if you can hang some Proctor flags on the side of the post, but again, what's council want to do as far as budget-wise, that's how this is gonna be driven, right? I would say the flag option, a lot of those poles you can get add-ons, after the fact at a later date. Okay. Budget, like mounts and things like that. Okay.
How much is a flag mount? Under 500?
I think so.
Yeah. I would personally just assume, coming from a public utility standpoint, when we were trying to drive some budget numbers, we were concerned about public safety, for one, knowing that I think the decorative lights are nice, but as Administrator Rich, the light isn't designed to shoot down, it's designed to shoot more up. I think they're too close together for snow removal operations, and that's a part of what was the demise, was we were hitting them, or the state was hitting them, or the county was hitting them, and then we run out of parts, can't get the same parts. So the commission was looking more at the style light, like we did on Second Street. The rough price there was $10,000 roughly per light. They stand a little higher, they illuminate down for public safety, add a flagpole, and maybe we can add to the existing standard unit, we can maybe get 6 more lights and then put them in an area where if we're digging up sidewalks, at least pull wire through so that later on we could add a light, and strategically place them, more on the boundary to Main Street. And if the city is willing to kick in or match, then you could basically double down and look at 12 additional lights of that. That's just the opinion of the commission.
You're saying double down on the 175.
Basically, your standard, you got to start with the standard light package. So that was the 175 that we're paying for no matter what, and then trying to add where it made sense, where we're going to dig up sidewalks and pull that electrical, and hit the key public areas that need to be illuminated for safety purposes. And then add a banner, maybe we can't afford power on every single pole, but it does look nice to have different panels. And maybe add that if it wasn't too expensive. So at least you have a starting block, and then as years come in and maybe we keep extending it, by 2 or 3 every year, or, as money meets the need. Because it is our chance to get some of the underground work done for less money than if we do it on our own. So trying to reap that reward a little bit. Once again, I agree with the mayor. I think it's totally ridiculous that this is being crammed down our throat. It's their road, it's their lighting. And we've got to pay half of it.
Have you spoke with Finance Director Brunfeld on any of this, as far as budget?
This is a 2027 project?
Okay.
Yeah, so we have time for budgeting.
But we have to have a plan by this year.
They want to know where we're putting poles by June 2nd, I believe, so they can start their soil investigation work.
Where are the lights gonna go off if we decide during those meetings? 6th Street?
We got budget numbers to extend them past 6th Street, and if we do, we're looking at a $1 million project. I know. But Chief, it doesn't have to be, we're not ruling out extending them. It just doesn't have to be done with this project, because they're not doing that kind of excavation between 6th and Old Highway 2. I know.
I just want the calming effect when people are coming in from the west side. When they did this 20 years ago, the lighting stops basically at Third Avenue. And then you have a regular light.
Was there any discussion going up the other way, up towards Blackwoods?
Well, there was a discussion with our trail connection, and I think there was some ADA compliance going on Boundary and Highway 2. Was there not?
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, where they're gonna be doing some extensive work there again, get the wiring, at least figure out where the poles might be. Because I just don't wanna be put in a position to where we do nothing, and then all of a sudden we decide 2 years from now, now we gotta excavate new concrete, new road, whatever. You know, the dirt is there and it's not covered. Now's the time to at least get the pipe in and pull some wire. That's just my opinion.
And I like that idea, as long as that trail crossing is gonna go there, but that's not final yet either, right? I mean,
The trail crossing on Boundary, it is being designed.
it is?
Yep.
That's Plan A?
Mhm.
Okay, then I like that idea.
The crossing of Highway 2
Right.
at Boundary.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then the sidewalk extension to.
And that's where you're talking,
To the
Counselor.
north, and then
Yeah.
the sidewalk extension to the south.
Right.
Yeah. Did you have something? No. I guess I'm in agreement with the PUC on the dollar value and maybe the extension of 6, maybe 12 lights, depending on where the project cost comes in at, but
So my hearing, pretty much you're comfortable with the MnDOT standard lighting the way it is now, so replace like for like? And those are, and then to add a smattering of decorative, utilitarian, pedestrian safety lighting in the downtown area.
do we need to replace light for light? Because these ones are going to be brighter.
Okay, so there's 2 sets of light, well,
Well,
There's-
that'll be designed with photometric glare and how many light poles
Okay.
are actually needed. It all depends on the height of those MnDOT poles and the type of lighting.
So I guess for starters, and we got to say light for light, and if it ends up being less, then it ends up being less, right?
so your standard MnDOT right now is lighting up the roadway. Your decorative pedestrian safety is not going to really offer you any highway lighting. It's more, it's lower, it's downward, direct facing, and it serves a different purpose, aesthetics and safety.
But it's higher than what's existing for decorative lighting right now.
It can be.
I was looking at what we did on second height, which is not as high as a normal MinDOT light, but it's higher than the decorative lighting.
Yeah, I think we did about 2,500 on,
And then isn't 6th and Almac, isn't that even shorter?
so it might be 20.
Yeah.
And I would think with the LED power, I mean, you don't need as many lights in between.
That's what we're hoping, yeah.
Yeah, so,
And I'll say if we have a budget to work off of, we can see what'll fit in our cost estimate with that budget and then see how that might plays out. You guys can see an exhibit of how that metric looks like. So where there are dark spots, where there's light spots, that kind of thing. But if we have a number to go to, obviously that's the tough thing because it's thrown at you, so you don't have a direct budget to work with. But if we have a good number that the city can spend on it, then we can say, this is the MinDOT standard portion, here's what we have left on the remainder, and here's what we can fit with that based on the wiring, the conduit, and the lighting, have options that way.
so I could make a recommendation that we start with a budget of 150,000 in addition to the base, 75 coming from the city, 75 coming from PUC, total 150 above and beyond the base. Does that make sense?
So a total budget of 500,000. Because you still have the
Be
175.
375
175.
plus 150, right?
350.
Or, correct, yes, that
Okay.
works out. Just to start with for a plan.
That's helpful.
That
Is that
would be, that would be my motion.
You heard the motion from Counselor DeWall. Is there a second? I'll second that. Any further discussion?
Can you explain it one more time about where the money's coming from?
Counselor DeWall, you want to say what PUC's doing, or?
Or just read the motion back?
Well, it's, either way, we are faced with a $350,000 bill at minimum. That's no decorative lighting, that's no increasing for public safety. Traditionally, what has happened in the city is our Public Utilities Commission pays that bill, just like they paid the lighting on Second Street. Nobody was assessed that. So starting with that as the base, knowing that we can't afford $1 million, there's no way that's gonna go down. But if they put 75,000, hoping the city would match 75,000, that would give an excess budget of minimum lighting of 150. Let's see what we can get for the value of 150,000, whether it's full wiring and lighting, but at least minimum getting wiring out there so that we could plug a few away every year or something. You know, wherever the value meets for that budget. You know, assuming that this is all monies that would be spent in 2027. So it gives us a couple of budget years to allocate that money. That's the motion.
Okay.
And that's just basically to get a plan. It gives direction for the scope. They can figure out where we're gonna get the biggest, best value. Listening to our administrator, we wanna concentrate more on the areas that they're doing, like the Main Street. If they're gonna be ripping up all that sidewalk and they're covering that cost, and all we gotta do is lay conduit, let's get the conduit in, and then we could go back and run wire, or I would think, whatever. That's most of the expense. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's the labor part of the expense. The lights are expensive. But for, the Public Commission does not want to get into decorative lighting. That is not their responsibility. It is not, they want no part of that. But they did take an interest in public safety of a light that maybe doesn't look cutesy, but it is effective and illuminates, like Mr. Rich is saying, the state light is to illuminate the roadway. That light would illuminate the sidewalk and maybe the parking spaces more, concentrate more on that. So that when people are walking at the MS 150, they're walking at night, going down to our local businesses, there's a sense of feeling safe, secure.
Thank you.
Is that a good start for you guys? You good?
Yeah, that'll give us something to work on.
Okay. And then Chief Gatus, were you involved with any of these conversations as far as the public safety aspect of it?
I'm with Counselor Buell, looking at public safety and
Okay,
what we can do to calm the traffic now.
thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing, oh. Did you have something?
No, I was just going to say, I would like to see a little more decorative, but you know, I get the cost and the safety and dark skies.
And I just want to repeat, the commission wasn't against going that route, they're just not going to pay for it. If the city or the chamber wants to pay for it, you want to make a fundraiser, GoFundMe, all in favor.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. That'll bring us to 6A, Public Safety Recommendation, amend lift assist policy. So at our public safety meeting last week, maybe? Was it? Monday? Last Monday, we had a public safety meeting and the lift assist policy was amended at it and being recommended by the Public Safety Committee. We are adding community residential setting and increasing the penalties for lift assist from $350, $500, $850 steps to just a flat $1,000 per call. So looking for a motion to approve the public safety amend, or the lift assist policy.
Make that motion.
Counselor Peterson made the motion. Is there a second?
Support.
Supported by Counselor Benson. Any further discussion?
Just one, so there's clarification, this isn't for the first time. This is for continual.
Correct.
I don't know what the proper political word would be. Chief?
And it doesn't cover, it's not residential, like private home either.
Correct. I just don't want people to not call 911 if they need help, feeling
License,
they're gonna get paid.
licensed care facility.
Yes.
Yeah. Any other discussion on
It's
that?
just lack of staff and/or not wanting to do it. Puts our fire department and our cops at just stuff that, right, that just could be done by somebody else. So talking with Chief Hellquist, they have no problem paying the money for us to help, and we need to make sure that our stuff's covered. So I'm all for it.
Cool. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. 6B, Resolution 16-25, setting a public hearing to vacate the street. Looking for a motion to approve Resolution 1625.
So moved.
Counselor DeWall made the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor Peterson. Any discussion?
Go ahead.
Just what we talked about at the pre-agenda meeting, that the resolution itself didn't have a time on it, but it will be 6 PM. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. 6C, Resolution 17-25, Cooperative Maintenance Agreement. In your packet was the Cooperative Maintenance Agreement with St. Louis County for road maintenance program. Is there a motion to approve Resolution 1725?
So move.
Counselor Benson made the motion. Is there a second? I'll second that. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Brings us to 6D. This is the SLA agreement with SEH for the PUC/street garage. Looking for a motion to approve the SLA with SEH. I'll go ahead and make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor Peterson. Any further discussion? Any time frame on when we'll see this report?
I think it's just waiting on a review from my structural engineer,
Perfect. Sounds good, thank you. Any other discussion?
So this motion is for a total of approximately 42,000.
$42,350.
Thank you.
And that's for the project management, structural assessment, that's for bidding, and for construction services, correct? Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Brings us to 6E, legislative update. Counselor Benson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. Even on a Sunday, there were 10 bills that were introduced. I think there was one today. Legislature is going to adjourn at midnight tonight. Spoke with both our senator and representative. They said that our bonding is still their number one priority, although they expect that the bonding will come up in a special session. So, take the opportunity to contact them and let them know, and we could start working on our next legislature, which opens February 17th. So,
Still got a list, I'm sure.
yes, we do.
Thank you, Counselor. Any discussion on that? All right. We'll move on to members' concerns. Counselor Peterson.
I really only have one thing, and I want to, I guess, say thank you to Chief and the staff, Officer Search. As I drove by, a lemonade stand was standing out having a lemonade with the kids, and I think that's great engagement for kids, so I appreciate that.
Awesome, thank you. Counselor DeWall.
Nothing.
Thank you. Counselor Benson.
Nothing, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. I got a few things. Reminder, city brush pickup began today. Memorial Day. Jake, I'm surprised you didn't mention this, but
I
this
left it to you, Mr. Mayor.
this will be Monday, May 26th, obviously, here at City Hall, starting at 9:30, correct?
Correct.
And then I just wanted to thank the Proctor Fire Department. They have been aiding with the wildfires up north. I was hoping to get a list of names, but I don't know who all went, but I know we did send a rig up there with some personnel, so thanks to them. Got an update on Counselor Johnson. He did call me this afternoon while I was walking in here. He is home. He got home at noon today. He's doing well. He was excited to finally be out of the hospital, so things are looking up there, and hopefully we'll see him sitting here soon. And then at our pre-agenda meeting, I don't know if it was Rick or Chief Gatus, but county street sweepers are out and about, so I know Fifth Street is flagged with no parking signs, so we'll just be diligent on following those signs, I guess. Because they're, what do you say, they'll be done probably the end of the week? So, that's all I had. Attorney Verta?
No updates for this.
Thank you. Administrator Rich?
I have nothing.
Chief Gatus?
I talked to them.
All right. With that being said, we'll entertain a motion to pay the bills in the amount of $160,475.54. I'll make that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Counselor Peterson. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oppose? Motion passes. Looking for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Counselor DeWall made a motion. Is there a second? I'll second that. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
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 Oppose? Motion passes.